One of the most dreaded questions that any rabbi can ever be asked is one that I've received on numerous occasions in different forms, but has been asked to me, and that is, Rabbi, why do bad things happen to good people? That question is going to strike a fear in the heart of any good religious leader. However, I have an answer. I have a great answer to that question. And the answer I want to share with you now to why bad things happen to good people is, I don't know. That's the answer. It actually is the answer to the question, because nobody knows. Some things are beyond our comprehension. Moses, the greatest prophet that ever lived, the Torah tells us, asked God this question, and God pretty much told him to be quiet. As a mortal, we humans are trapped in time and space, and being confined in that world does not allow us to have the scope, to have the vision of understanding God's ways and why good people have to suffer, and the opposite, why bad people seemingly have it so good. And one of the names of God, the main name of God, actually gives a hint to this, and that is the name of God, which is a Yud with a Hey, with a Vav with a Hey. A name of God that's so holy we don't even pronounce it. But actually, say the rabbis, that name of God is actually three words. Haya, which means past, Hoveh, which means present, and Yeh, which means future. And when you crunch those three names together, you get the name of God. Why? What does that name actually represent? It represents a totality of all of history. That means God is present right now in the Garden of Eden. He's right here with us and right with you, and also with the Messiah at the end of days. So God has a scope, a vision of the world that we mortals are not privy to until we enter into the spiritual world, and then everything will become clear. And actually, we know that Moses had an older brother, and his name was Aaron. And Aaron had a number of sons, 4 sons, but 2 of them died in very tragic circumstances, and their names were Nadav and Avihu. And unfortunately, they made a certain mistake when it came to celebrating and the way they acted, and they died in a very, very tragic way. And the way that Aaron responded to that is seen as a very, very high level. And that is V'yidom Aaron. Aaron was silent. Doesn't mean he wasn't upset. Doesn't mean he wasn't in extreme pain, but he was quiet, and he was able to understand that there's more than just the physical world, that their death came with some kind of benefit, which he probably did not understand at the time. And even us, after all these years, may not have a full understanding of. And that could be one of the reasons, it is one of the reasons, why the food a mourner eats is an egg or lentils. An egg is round, so it's cyclical, meaning there's ups and downs to life. But also, say the rabbis, an egg has no mouth. Just like a person who's going through tremendous pain and suffering also sometimes is stunned into silence. And that's a good message for the Parsha. It's also a good message for Yom HaShoah, which actually appeared this week, and we actually had a certain amount of classes on this topic as well, and there is no answer, because ultimately we don't know, but we put our faith in God that the future will always be better. Shabbat Shalom.